Welcome to Senior Living Live. My name is Janae Sherman, and I'm very excited to have the opportunity to host today because today is a very special day. It's Veterans Day, and every year we bring back one of our favorite guests, the lovely Emily Schwarz, to teach us all about veterans benefits and how they can help you or a loved one pay for senior living. This program will also give you the opportunity to ask her questions today. So if you need answers about veteran benefits, then you're in the right place. So you're very welcome here today. So just a little housekeeping before I turn it over to Emily. She's going to begin her presentation here in a moment, but if you have questions for her, make sure to scroll down to the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and type them in as they come to you. And Emily will get a chance to answer those questions during her presentation. So with that, I believe we're ready to get started. Emily, thank you so much for joining us today. If you're ready, you can begin.
I am very ready. I need to be able to share my screen. So if one of you could let me do that. But first, I'm just going to introduce myself. So as Janae said, I am Emily Schwarz. I am Vice President of Sales for ElderLife Financial. I have an extensive background in VA benefits. In fact, I've been helping people apply for the aid and attendance benefits since 2008. So I am ready to answer any of your questions that you put in the Q&A after I go through our VA benefits section. And then we will move on and do a little bit more about ElderLife and how we can help you in other ways. I'm going to see if I can share my screen, which I can. If you guys could allow me to share my screen, that would be fantastic. Still having an issue with that. There we go. Thank you. There's the magic sauce. All right, wonderful. So I'm sure everybody is seeing the two logos at the moment. We're going to get started with financial resources for senior living. Thank you so much for joining ElderLife and the Arbor Company. We have a wonderful partnership. And I think through this partnership, we're going to be able to educate all of you about some very valuable benefits today. So let's take a look at what today's agenda is. First, I'm going to give you a very brief overview of who is ElderLife Financial. And then we're going to deep dive into VA benefits for senior living. That's the meat and potatoes that you joined today to learn about. Within that section, we're going to talk about the monthly benefit amounts, the eligibility criteria, the very exciting retroactive payments that the VA will provide to you, challenges with applying and how ElderLife can help you, as well as some additional resources that we offer to families who may or may not be eligible for the VA benefit, which includes an overview of our bridge loan. Finally, we're going to give you some next steps and ways to learn more. My team is available to answer your calls live right after this webinar. So if you've got lots of questions that maybe you don't want to chat in, you can just give us a call and I'll provide you the Arbor Company phone number to ElderLife Financial. So a little bit about us. We were founded in 2000, quite a few years ago. And what we do for families is essentially we provide a financial consultation. We want to look at all the resources on the left side of the screen in the pretty blue heart and coordinate all those resources for you to help you figure out how to pay for senior living. If you want to describe who is ElderLife, we like to say we're a financial aid office for senior living. I'm sure many of you have worked with a financial aid office at a college or university for yourself, your children, your grandchildren. Well, we are a financial aid office for senior living. We help identify and coordinate resources for families to make that move in possible. We want to expedite and simplify your transition into senior living. I know it can be a stressful time for families, but it doesn't have to be. And we are definitely there and available to help you through that process. And lastly, what we're going to cover today is our in-house VA benefit department. We do have an in-house department known as aidandattendance.com, which can simplify this entire VA benefit mystery, I guess we could call it, for you and for your loved ones. So let's dive right into that. VA benefits. We are going to help simplify the application process and the understanding of who is eligible and how to actually get those funds coming in to your family. So I am going to show you a sneak preview of the 2023 monthly maximum benefit amounts. And you're asking yourself, why is Emily showing me 2023? It's not even December yet. It's only November 11th. Well, because if you apply for this benefit in this month, These are actually the benefit amounts you will receive starting December 1. So December 1 will be the first month you receive the benefits. You do not get money for November if you haven't already opened your claim. So pretty much anybody who is on this webinar and thinking about applying is going to receive these dollar amounts for 2023. The VA starts their fiscal year on December 1, and it goes through November 30th. It's a little bit different than the calendar year. These benefits are also going up quite a large amount. So if you are familiar with the benefit already, you'll see that they jumped 8.7%. The VA traditionally increases the same amount as the Social Security cost of living adjustment. And so that is what Social Security is going up. So we are anticipating the VA will follow suit. With that, and I know you've been staring at the screen, so you've already read these numbers, but a surviving spouse is eligible for $1,432 a month. A single veteran is going to be eligible for $2,229 a month. And then you see there are two married veteran amounts. Typically, people get the higher dollar amount, the $2,642 a month. That is when the married veteran needs care and he's married. That spouse can need care or not. Either way, the married veteran, because he has a dependent, is going to receive over $400 more than the single veteran. Then the married veteran who is healthy can actually apply based on his spouse's care needs and care costs. And this level is actually often overlooked. People are not aware that the veteran can be healthy while the spouse might need care. In this situation, the veteran does make the application and he documents the spouse's care needs and care costs, and he can receive up to $1,750 a month to help pay for those household expenses of caring for their spouse. So there are 4 monthly maximums. Next year, you can receive all the way up to $31,000 a year. That is the married veteran amount times 12. So this is quite a lot of money to help pay for your care. How do you get these big dollar amounts? Well, you have to meet 4 areas of eligibility, and that's what we're going to look at next. Military service of the veteran, health of the applicant or the spouse's care needs, income, household income, and household net worth. So let's look at each of these in detail. The first criteria of the benefit is military service of the veteran. And so the veteran uses this when he or she is applying, and the surviving spouse has to apply on the veteran's service record if they're applying as a surviving spouse. In order to be eligible for this benefit, the veteran needs to have served at least 1 day of active duty during a period of war. What you see on the screen is World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the beginning date of the Gulf War. You need 1 day of active duty during a wartime period. No combat is required. That means you can have served anywhere in the entire world, any other country or the United States, as long as you have an active duty day during a wartime period. Then you need to show you have a total of 90 active duty days. That means 89 of them could be during peacetime, as long as 1 is during wartime. That's not usually the way it works, but just so we know, that's how the requirement reads. The 90 days do not have to be consecutive. So sometimes we have merchant Marines, reservists, and National Guard folks that serve shorter periods of active duty, maybe 30 days, and then another 30 days, and another 30 days. Well, that's 90 days. As long as you have a total of 90 with 1 during a period of war, that makes you eligible for the military requirement. The VA is also going to check that you have a discharge of anything other than dishonorable. So that would be honorable, medical, or general discharge. All of the information that I just shared with you is going to be on your veteran's discharge papers. It's also known as a DD-214 form. So if you do not have your veteran's discharge papers, you need to order them, and we can help you do that as well. The discharge papers are actually housed at the National Archives, not at the VA. So you need to order them, and the company that we work with can expedite them for you, typically in about 3 to 4 weeks. Not only do you need them just to check the dates, but you need to send a copy with your VA application. Finally, a surviving spouse is only considered a surviving spouse if they are married to the veteran at the time of death. So she has to apply on her most recent husband's service. That means if there was a divorce, she's not a surviving spouse. If she was married to a wartime veteran and he passed, and then she remarried another gentleman, and that was not a wartime veteran, she is no longer eligible for the benefit. You are always applying on the last marriage. Okay, let's move on to the next criteria, which is actually the easiest one. This is the health requirements. The VA has a 3-page medical form, and they are going to ask a doctor or nurse practitioner. Again, this does not have to be a VA medical doctor. You don't have to go to a VA medical center to get this form filled out. The community doctor, your primary care physician, a neurologist, a nurse practitioner can complete these 3 pages for you. The VA is looking to see, does the veteran or the spouse, or maybe both of them if they're living in the community together, need care with activities of daily living, known as ADLs. The 6 the VA recognizes are bathing, dressing, toileting, feeding, transferring, ambulating, or a cognitive impairment. It's not both, it's one or the other. A cognitive impairment is dementia or Alzheimer's. So you would be thinking about moving into a memory care community. Sometimes we also see people with a diagnosis as Parkinson's or macular degeneration, which is being legally blind. Those are also diagnoses that help people get this benefit. In conclusion, on this slide, I just like to point out that people think that bathing and dressing means a sponge bath or dressing you like a baby doll. The Arbor Company can provide you a simple shower assist. So someone will come to your room, help you safely get in and out of the shower and redress without slipping and falling. That is enough. That is assistance with bathing and dressing. So it's not necessarily what people think it is. It's really just some simple additional care that they can provide to you. The third criteria of the benefit is net income. And so the VA is going to look at all incomes coming into the household. So that could be 2 Social Securities, 2 pensions, any wages if someone is still working, any rental income from properties, any interest and dividends from any investments. Now the VA will then let you subtract your care expenses from your income. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this presentation in partnership. Because when somebody moves into the Arbor Company, that is their assisted living expense or their memory care expense. And the VA will let you subtract those costs from your income. They will also let you subtract your adult daycare or your home care or your health insurance premiums or long-term care insurance premiums. Notice the only things that you're subtracting from your income are your medical expenses. So there's no rent or mortgage or taxes or electricity or utilities on here. It's only care expenses. And they will let you deduct your entire monthly invoice with the Arbor Company. So it's not just the rent and it's not just the care, it's whatever you're paying in total every month. What the VA does is they look at your income and they subtract your care expenses and they calculate your VA income. And this is what it looks like. Let's say you have income of $4,600 and your care expenses are $6,000. The VA is going to say you have a net income of 0. You are spending all of your income every month on your care. In fact, if you were only spending $4,700, you would still be spending all of your income on your care. And that 0 is the magic number. That's when you get the $1,432 all the way up to the $2,642, the maximum benefit for the level you're entitled to. Now, sometimes people get a partial benefit. That happens when your income is higher than your care expenses. So in the second example, let's say you have $6,600 coming in. So that's a married couple with 2 incomes, 2 pensions. Maybe they have some investment income or rental income. They have pretty high income, but that doesn't mean that you can't get the benefit. So if your care expenses remain the same at $600, the VA is going to say you have a positive net income, $600 remaining. Now, I know you might be using that money for something else, but if it's not care expenses, they won't let you reduce it. So what happens is they subtract whatever your positive net income is from your benefit. So if this was a married couple at $2,642, the veteran would be awarded approximately $2,042. Here's where I would suggest, this is my opinion, that you might want to look at what else the Arbor Company can do for you. So if you're only having a shower assist once or twice a week, then maybe you want to think about 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe you would like some help with medication management instead of having your son or daughter help you with that. Maybe you want to look at a 1-bedroom instead of a studio. If you spend $600 more, the VA is going to give you $600 more. This is a win for you. There is no loser in this equation. The VA has an unlimited pot of money. You are not taking that $600 from another veteran. I know our veterans are very proud and they would never want to do that. That is not the situation. So if there's anything else that can benefit your life, I would recommend you look at spending just slightly more than your income, whatever that amount is, on your care, and then you will receive the full benefit. The last criteria of the benefit is net worth. The VA does have an asset limit, and the asset limit increases every year with the cost of living adjustment. So last year, it was just slightly over $138,000 for 2022, since we're still in it. But for 2023, we're estimating that it's going to be $150,537. You can have a lot of money and still be eligible for this benefit. People don't realize that. Now, what do they count into your asset limit? All bank accounts, CDs, annuities, IRAs, 401ks, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, and any pieces of real estate other than your primary residence. Now, what do they not count? They do not count your primary residence, whether it's worth $100,000 or $1 million. You cannot pay the Arbor Company with a window or a door. So if you have a home, you can have one part of the couple living in it. You could have your kids or grandkids living in it. You could rent it. It can sit vacant. However you want to do it, it doesn't matter. As long as it remains a house and it only has 2 acres around it, it will be an exempt asset. Any acreage over 2 is going to be real estate in the left column, and you will have to document the value of those real estate acres unless you can prove to the VA that you cannot subdivide it. They also do not count burial policies, which are prepaid funerals, vehicles, or personal property. None of that is asked about on the application. Now, I just want to pause for a second and say, if you are a very fortunate family and you are over $150,000, that does not mean you will never be eligible for this benefit. The VA does have a 3-year look back period. However, if you would like to get this benefit, I would strongly recommend you give us a call. I'm going to provide a number at the end, and we will help you understand how to do VA planning. Essentially, we will connect you with our VA benefits team, and they will make a referral to an organization that knows how to do that, a company that knows how to help you with VA planning. So you can spend your assets down and then apply, or you can look at some strategies that will help you become eligible for the benefit in 3 years and sometimes less. If you are considering selling your home, again, please give us a call. We can help you through that process, both from the real estate side, but also maintaining your VA eligibility. So we will connect you with a VA accredited attorney who can help you ensure that when you sell that home, either prior to moving into the Arbor Company or after, you do not lose your eligibility for the benefit. Most homes in this country are worth more than $150,000. And by selling your home and getting a nice big check at closing, you actually lose your VA eligibility until you spend it down, unless you take some steps prior to selling the home. So again, if you're a fortunate family, that is wonderful. Please give us a call. We'll help you with strategies to maintain VA eligibility now and in the future. Let's talk about those retroactive payments that everybody is very excited about. So what happens with this benefit is they will actually pay you back. If you apply by the last business day of any month, so this month that is November 30th, the VA will then owe you money starting December 1 if you are paying for care in December. So if you don't move in till January, they owe you money starting January. But most people will move in next month. If that is the case, you become eligible in December. And by either submitting a 1-page intent to file form or your full application by November 30th, each of these is possible. Today is only November 11th. The VA will owe you back starting December 1. Now, if you're not sure when you want to move in, I would highly recommend that you get that intent to file form in anyway, unless you're over the asset limits or unless you're going to sell the house. But if you are eligible right now, I would get your intent to file into the VA. That means your claim is open for 1 calendar year. So if you choose to move into the Arbor company in January or February, the VA will still backdate your money to whatever month that you moved in. Now, if it takes you 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get an approval, and usually I'd say the average is probably around 5, the VA will then pay you back those 5 months of money. So December, January, February, March, April, and then you would get paid in May, all of the months that they owe you. And that is a wonderful replenishment of funds. So I know I've made this benefit sound very easy and appealing. Let's talk about some of the challenges. So first of all, it is hard for families to understand if they're eligible, and that's our job. When you call us, we are going to go through about a 5-minute survey over the phone and help you understand if you're eligible now or in the future. We're also going to help you understand what benefit level you're entitled to, or maybe it's a partial benefit. You need to know how much you're going to be able to use for your care. And then you're going to need to start incurring the care cost before the VA benefit kicks in. So you've got a waiting period. It's a little bit of a catch-22 that ElderLife has a solution for. So the application makes you show where you're living and who you're paying, and they have to sign it. So you do have to make that leap and move into the Arbor company before you can successfully complete this application. Then you're going to have to complete the application. So the intent to file is only one page. It is actually the first tab on our website when you use our software. But then the application for the VA is 30 pages long. It's 32 for the spouse and 34 for the veteran. So you can do it by pen and paper, but we would highly recommend that you don't. That's the best way to have a mistake. So how do we help your family? Well, we're going to be able to help you understand that eligibility, as I mentioned, in that first 5 or 10 minutes over the phone with us. We do a 15-question survey that will give you the answer. Then we're going to recommend you use our online software at aidandattendance.com if you are ready to apply. That is the fastest and easiest way to do it. Many families get it completed in about an hour, and it will tell you if you've made any mistakes. If you have an error or an omission, it's going to catch it rather than doing it by pen and paper and having to wait for the VA to tell you you've got a mistake. So we don't want that. We have a number of filing options. We will provide you a free PDF of the 30-page application if you want it. Usually once people get it, they give us a call back and sign up to use the software. We have 2 different packages. We have a basic package at $199. So yes, less than $200. You can get this application done in an hour and get it completed correctly. If you need a little bit of extra help, like many families moving into senior living do, for $300 more, we will have a member of our staff help you through the process. So you will get a customer-only phone number. It's not the public number. We will help you with any data entry or questions that you have, and we will review your application before you print it out, sign it, and fax it to the VA. We want to make sure it's in tip-top shape and you get every possible dollar. So for $300 more, you do get a lot of support. We can also connect you with a VA accredited attorney. So that is very important if you're going to sell your home, but sometimes families also don't want to touch the application at all. Their kids are too busy. They don't want to bother them. Maybe nobody's very tech savvy, and a VA accredited attorney can just do it for you, kind of like a CPA. In conclusion, I like to actually equate our software to TurboTax. So people use TurboTax or TaxAct or Quicken, one of those awesome softwares, and they usually pay about $199 every year to do it. With us, you do it once, you never have to pay anything else again, but you will get that application done very easily. Now, what do you do if you don't have the money to move into the Arbor company while you're waiting for the VA benefit to approve you and send you that retroactive check? Well, you can utilize the ElderLife Bridge Loan that we're going to detail out after we cover the VA questions. We'll talk about that in just a few slides, but you can utilize our bridge loan, and we're able to provide funds immediately. If you need to move in for care tomorrow, we can even make that happen. We send the funds directly to your community of choice. So you don't have to worry about the transfer of those funds. We will just send it to the community that you're living at. We will let you borrow the exact amount of your VA benefit so that when those retroactive payments come in, you will have the right amount to repay the bridge loan. So again, we'll talk about the bridge loan in just a few more slides, but now I'm going to take a pause for questions about VA. I do see we have about 4 questions in right now, and I'm sure more will start coming in after Janae asks them to me, but
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
those
thank you,
questions.
Emily. This has been great so far. And we do have a couple of questions here. If you have a question, make sure to get it in so that I can make sure we can get it answered for you. And this first question comes from BP. And I believe you answered this, but this came in before you answered it. But let's just read it out to make sure
Yeah.
that the answer is here. So, is the spouse of a veteran who was divorced from the veteran when they died eligible for VA benefits if they never remarried and currently receive military benefits?
So unfortunately, with this benefit, if you are divorced from your veteran, you are no longer eligible for this benefit. But you are correct. You might be able to get other military benefits. You may also be able to get their Social Security benefits. So unfortunately, this benefit does have that criteria if you need to be married to the veteran at the time of death. I would investigate other military benefits that might be available to you.
Yes, thank you, BP. So now we have an anonymous question, and it looks like they followed up on that one too. So does money held in a revocable trust count as income? But then it says, sorry, I meant to ask if money held counts against the limit on countable assets.
Yes, exactly. Actually, both of those are both good questions. So if it is in a revoke, first of all, I'm going to say I'm not an attorney, and I can absolutely connect you with a wonderful VA accredited attorney if you would like to talk about it further. But here's my layman's understanding. If it is in a revocable trust, as you mentioned, RE, then it is a countable asset. And any income that asset generates is also countable income. So yes, you kind of did say it correctly, although the second question was really what you were asking. If it is in an irrevocable, as in IRR, that means mom or dad does not have access to the assets, of course, then the income it generates in the trust. So it sounds like you do have assets in a revocable trust, which is wonderful for other things like probate, but it is not going to help you for VA benefit. So in that situation, you really might want to give us a call and ask for a referral to a VA accredited attorney. Potentially we could help you with that, but yes, unfortunately, the VA looks at it as money that mom and dad can use to pay for care.
Okay, thank you, Emily. So we have another anonymous question here. Can you use your benefits for home health care?
Yes. So yes, that was one of the medical expenses listed on things that you can use to reduce your income. Absolutely. Home care is a countable medical expense. However, I will say that many times when people are using home care, they don't get the full benefit because they're unable to spend all of their income on their care. You need some reserve for things like rent and mortgage and electricity and food. When you move into the Arbor company, all of that falls in under one umbrella, and you're allowed to write off all of your medical expenses, even though part of the cost of Arbor is the food and the rent and the utilities. So that's kind of the beauty of utilizing this benefit for assisted living. But absolutely, home care is a countable medical expense that does apply to this benefit.
Okay, thank you for making that distinction. So now we have a question from Russ Inslee. How do bank savings and retirement accounts factor into the VA income calculation? I saw somewhere that if you have more than 137,000 in assets, you don't qualify. Can you help him with this answer?
Yep. So the 137, really 138 is what the number is for 2022. So you read that correctly. That is the net worth limit. It's not income, it's net worth assets. So this year it's going up to 150,000, slightly over, I think 150,537 is what I believe it's going to be. And that will count as a deciding factor in your application. If you are over the 150, the VA is going to deny you the benefit. If you are over 150 and you would like to investigate doing some VA planning and potentially becoming eligible in 3 years, I would still recommend giving us a call, and my VA benefits team can connect you with a company that can assist you with that. There are many families that are in that situation, and this is the right time to do that planning. But if you apply with more than the asset limit on your application, you will absolutely be denied.
Okay, thank you, Russ. I hope that answers your question. And if you have any more follow-ups, just jump right back in here and we'll get that taken care of. So next we have a question from Rachel Sullivan. Must I still reapply to VA if I am now receiving VA benefits as the widow of a disabled vet?
Very good question. So let's talk about how disability and aid in attendance work. So you don't get both benefits. That's how it works, unfortunately. You get whichever is greater. So if you are a disabled veteran and you're receiving 90 or 100% disability, that is your rating, you are probably, or you are getting a bigger benefit from the VA than aid in attendance will provide to you. If you are at 80% or less, aid in attendance is likely greater than what you're receiving. And so you can apply for aid in attendance. When you are approved, the VA will stop your disability compensation and only pay you the aid in attendance pension. So you won't stop while you're in the process of the application, but once you're awarded. So you do not get two monetary benefits. Now, I think the person asking this question is receiving some of her husband's disability compensation. It's known as DIC, Dependency and Indemnity Compensation. It is for widows of 100% disabled veterans if they were 100% rated for 10 or more years prior to passing. So there's not a lot of folks with this, but if you are receiving DIC and you now need care, just the medical care, actually, all you need to do is meet the medical criteria, the ADLs or cognitive impairment. The VA will allow you to step up to an aid in attendance level of DIC. In 2022, that would give you an additional $356 a month. I believe, and I have to remember the number correctly, it's either 378 or 387 for 2023. So that was a very long answer to say, you can ask the VA for a little bit more money. You do not have to apply for the aid in attendance benefit. You're just going to provide some medical evidence and a cover sheet to the VA stating that you do have care needs and you want an increase on your DIC. If you would like help with that, again, you can speak with our aid in attendance team. They can give you those few forms. You don't even have to do them online. And you can ask for that little jump up because of your care needs.
Okay, thank you. We have another question here from Camille Lifton. My mom is already living at Arbor and we are in the process of selling her co-op. She will need those funds to pay for her care there. Is there a possible strategy for her to be eligible for this benefit?
Absolutely. Give us a call would be the best strategy. So you don't want to sell that condo because it sounds like, or you do want to sell the condo, but you don't want to sell the condo and then try to apply for the VA benefit. Because my guess from your question is that condo is worth more than $150,000. Or if she already has some savings, maybe it's worth more than $100,000, and then you're going to have a problem with the benefit. So please, before you list the condo, give us a call. We ask to be connected with the VA benefits team, and they will help you with a referral to a VA accredited attorney who can help move that condo into an irrevocable trust. Remember, irrevocable means she won't have access to the funds, so that she will remain eligible. And he can discuss with you how you can become the trustee and use the funds within the trust to help pay for care at Arbor. But yes, do not get a closing check for more than $150,000 and try to apply for this benefit.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's all the questions we have in here right now, but I know that you had a few more things you wanted to cover. So I'm going to turn it back over to you. And if you have any more questions, we're going up to the top of the hour. So make sure you get those in.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to do a few more slides and then I am going to pause again for questions. If you have them about VA that just come to you afterwards, that's totally fine. Any questions are good. So let's talk about some additional resources for senior living. I know that everybody is eligible for the aid in attendance benefit. Maybe your wartime dates don't work. I know we had a question about divorce, so I want to give you some other options that ElderLife can help you with. So one of the other things that we help families with is long-term care insurance policies. If you were smart many years ago and have a long-term care insurance policy that you pay on and you probably don't understand, you can give us a call and we will help you with a free policy review. I can speak from firsthand experience. I managed my mom's policy for 5 years. It is very hard. If I knew there was someone to help me with it, I would have reached out. So we will help you with a free policy review. If you would like additional assistance getting that claim started and managing it to make sure they never try to stop paying you, we can recommend experts that know how to do that as well. So if you have one, please contact us. If you're thinking of selling your home, or that last question about the condo, and you would like a recommendation to a senior real estate specialist, that is somebody that has not just a real estate license, but has experience and certification in knowing how to sell a senior's home. Selling a senior's home is very different than selling someone's first home. You've likely lived in that home for 10 or 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and there may be a lot of decluttering and household repairs that need to be done. Maybe we need some staging, and really we need mom and dad moved out of the home so it gets the maximum value. And that's what senior real estate specialists know how to do. So we have a national network of SRECs, FRESs, and especially we have a partnership with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. So give us a call if you're thinking of selling your property. We can walk you through the easiest way to do that. Now, we've already talked about VA benefits. I would just remember that we help people with the most time efficient and cost effective way of applying for this benefit. Again, $199, and you can do it yourself in an hour. So I think that qualifies. We also help families monetize their life insurance policy. So you may or may not realize this, but if you have a life insurance policy that you're going to lapse because you can't afford the payments anymore, you can actually sell that life insurance policy on the open market and get tens of thousands of dollars that you can then use to pay for your senior living. So please don't let it lapse. Nobody wins in that other than the life insurance company. So reach out to us. We're happy to make that connection. We also have some help through some digital funding options. Sometimes people don't need a bridge loan. They just need a little extra cash to help pay for the community or moving expenses. We can assist with that. We can also educate about tax deductions. Assisted living and memory care are tax deductible medical expenses. That can actually help you save up to 20% on your taxes when you move into senior living. And lastly, reverse mortgage. So we do have families where one part of the couple needs a higher level of care, especially memory care, and the other part of the couple wants to remain at home. Remember, the home is an exempt asset, so that's fine. And you can take out a reverse mortgage to help pay for your care. So, or your spouse's care. We can make a good connection about that as well. So I've mentioned the bridge loan a couple of times. I'm just going to do one slide about what the bridge loan is. And when you give us a call, we can have our financial concierge walk you through how that bridge loan process works. But essentially, the ElderLife Bridge Loan helps bridge the gap between the time the senior needs the care and the time the senior can afford the care. That does happen oftentimes when you're selling a home or you're waiting for VA benefits. You're going to have the money, but you don't have it today. So some of the benefits and features of the bridge loan are that we can immediately help you move into the Arbor company. We're going to make it very simple because we're going to send the funds directly to the community. So if you want to move in tomorrow, we can make that happen. We will move as fast as you can move with that bridge loan. We allow you to make the best decisions for you or your loved one. Well, that means maximizing the value of the home. We don't want you to sell it below market value to maybe an investor. We want you to get as much as you can. Maybe that means moving into the community so you can apply for VA benefits. And another thing it does is it allows you not to have to ask your kids for assistance. I know that can be very difficult, and sometimes seniors really don't want to have that conversation, and many times the kids can't really afford that couple months of care while you're waiting for the home to sell or the VA benefits to start. So we're going to provide that ease of transition. The application for the bridge loan is free and easy. You can either do it on our website, or I'd recommend you give us a call and a financial concierge can take that application right over the phone. I've already mentioned this, but we do send the money to your community, usually within 24 hours. Although if you need a little more time, that's okay too. And we will roll in additional costs into your bridge loan. So not just the rent and care, but we can add in moving expenses, home repairs, or your initial community fee into your bridge loan if you need that assistance as well. So lots of easy ways to help you get moved into the community in the time frame that you're looking for. And with that, I'm going to pause again for questions. I see there's 3 more in the Q&A. So let's see what they are.
Yes, we got a few questions from this. So the first one is from Louise Hamilton. Can aid and attendance benefits be paid to a widow who chooses to stay in her home?
Yes. So if you are utilizing home care, then you can use the VA benefit to pay for that home care. So it's not going to come to you unless you're paying for care. So I'm pretty sure this question means I'm going to remain at home and I'm going to hire home care. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that does make sense. Thank you. So now we have Richard Enright. What is with the 24-month for Gulf War requirement? I had 90 days plus 23 years of Army Reserve time. Do
You
you
have a very good eye, Richard, and I didn't say that. It was on the slide to make sure that we were giving you all the information. The Gulf War does require 24 months of active duty. It's not the 90 days that the shorter wars require. I gather that's because the Gulf War started August 2nd, 1990 and only ended last year. We don't have an exact date that I can show on my slides yet that I'm aware of. But because it is a longer war, the VA expects many more months of active duty service. So at the moment, it is 24 months of active duty. Only one day during wartime is the same, but there is a longer active duty requirement for the Gulf War than there is for the prior 3 wars.
Okay, thank you. We have another question from BP. Are you aware of grants that will assist with paying for care?
I am not aware of any other grants. I mean, you certainly could reach out to maybe your local or state government. Maybe there are some grants to help you on that level, not from the VA. The VA does have some home care programs that you can get some free hours of home care. If you're medically eligible, you could reach out to the VA about that. That's through the healthcare side of the VA, but I'm not aware of any grants at the moment. I would reach out to maybe my local council on aging to see if there's anybody that could give you some advice and some resources to pay for that.
Thank you. That's a good place to look.
Yeah.
I don't see any more active questions right now. If you have any more, we still have time up until the top of the hour. So please make sure to scroll down to the Q&A box and type in your questions there. But we do have a couple of questions that we tend to get a lot. And so I thought that Emily might be able to speak about some of those. So one question I've heard a lot in previous webinars is about serving in combat. Can someone who never served in combat still be eligible for benefits?
Absolutely. So many times we have folks that are called up to active duty and they're helping our country with other things, not the war effort. So let's think about the Vietnam era. That's a very long period of time, August 5th, 1964 to May 7th, 1975. If you were in the military during that time and you were not sent to Vietnam, you were probably called up to do something else. Maybe it's at home with a flood or a hurricane. You know, we just had a hurricane roll through Florida. There are reservists that are going to get called up to assist our citizens. That is active duty service. So if you were called up during your reserve time, or even if you were active duty just serving in a different country other than Vietnam, you can still be eligible as long as you've got that 1 day of active duty during the date ranges of the wartime periods, and you have a total of 90 active duty days.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Another question that we tend to get a lot is about someone who gets married to a veteran after their time that they've served. So if you are, and I know you said it was about the last marriage, what if that marriage happens after the service? Sorry.
Yep. I totally get what you're saying. So a lot of folks think they need to have been married to their veteran when they were in service. Now, we all know that's not really how it happened. We all know the baby boom generation. People went off to service, came home, and then got married to their sweethearts. So you do not need to be married to your veteran when they were serving. Most people got married after service. And in fact, a little interesting factoid is you only have to be married to your veteran for 365 days to be considered a surviving spouse. So this could be a late in life marriage. You can get married at 80 and God forbid your husband passes away and at 81 or 82, you are a surviving spouse of that wartime veteran. So you don't have to be married for decades to be considered a surviving spouse, just 1 year.
Thank you. Thank you. So we were talking before, and you were just giving me all of this information about lots of common misconceptions people have about VA benefits. And I know they're really challenging to understand. That's why we have people like you who can help us get through them. So what are some of the common misconceptions that you've heard or that you have to commonly address about VA benefits?
Well, I think the best one that pertains especially to this presentation is people think that they have income that is too high. I always hear, my income is too high. I looked on the VA's website and I'm above that income. Well, what the VA's website doesn't explain, I'm sure it does, but doesn't explain well, is that when you move into a senior living community like the Arbor Company, the entire cost of your monthly rent and care is subtracted from your income. So you could actually have relatively high income. That's why one of my examples showed $6,600 of income. If you're spending $6,600 on care, your income is zero. And that entitles you to one of those four full benefit amounts that we looked at the very beginning. So don't shy away from this benefit, even if you have high income. That might mean that you want to look at a really nice room at the Arbor Company, maybe a 2-bedroom, because you will be entitled to the full benefit. Another thing that misconception that dovetails off of that is sometimes people's income is very high because of their investments. Now, we all know that the net worth limit is a problem. So if you have investments that are generating a lot of income, by doing your VA planning to fix your net worth criteria and become eligible in 3 years, that will also reduce your income because you're going to be stopping maybe those large IRA payments or whatever other investment that you have coming in generating income. So those two actually go hand in hand. And I wouldn't shy away from investigating how do you become eligible for the benefit. I don't really love the waiting and spending it down. You're probably not going to put yourself in the best situation.
That's a really good tip. And that actually leads me to my last question. I know we're winding down on the time. If you do have a question, make sure to get it in quickly. We'll get it in under the wire. But I'm just wondering, so you've got all of these good resources, and I know that people should come to you. Just what is the first place, like for all of our viewers today, what's the first thing they should be doing? Where do they need to go first so that they can start to get the help that they need?
Well, I say the easiest thing to do is give us a call. So we will take calls till 5. I think most of you are on Eastern time. I'm on Eastern time. We're definitely going to be answering calls till 5, maybe even 6 today. We are open. I know it's Veterans Day and many banks and institutions are closed. We are open today. So please give us a call at that 888-228-4500 number. You want to let them know that you were on the Arbor Company webinar, Senior Living Live. And then we'll be able to know exactly all the information that that's already been shared with you. You're not starting from scratch. If you prefer to have someone give you a call, you can email arborcompany@elderlifefinancial.com. Of course, that'll help us know that, again, you're an Arbor Company family or you were on this presentation and you will be becoming a family. Or if you really just like the internet, you can go to elderlifefinancial.com. You can learn about more of our resources, the ones that I spoke about, not VA, as well as VA. You can even do a bridge loan application right online. But I would definitely tell you, if you're not going to use these numbers or websites today, save them. I believe we are recording, so I assume you're going to be posting that. And you can share this information with your family, a friend, a fellow resident. You can go back and review it again. But just make sure you find out about your resources to pay for senior living.
Yes, Emily, we are recording today. And for all of you watching, everyone who's registered is going to get an email to the email that they use to register for this webinar, and will receive a link of the recording. So they will have the presentation, all of your helpful information, and be able to use that starting tomorrow. And feel free to share that recording with friends and family or anyone who might need this information. We would definitely love for you to share that. So thank you again, Emily, for spending Veterans Day with us today.
My pleasure.
I don't see any more questions coming in, but I want to remind you, you're going to get the webinar recording. And if you'd like to see more, Emily's done a lot of webinars with us. So if you want to watch some more of her webinars with us, you can visit www.seniorlivinglive.com and access any of those recordings. We also, on that website, just have lots of great content for senior living in general. So if you have a question about senior living or senior care, you're going to find an answer there on that website. So make sure to look there. All of your information is here on the screen, Emily. So if you need to reach out to her, we really encourage you to do that. And do you have anything else for us, or?
No, that's it. I'd just say our friendly financial concierges are waiting for your call. So give them a call right now and we'll walk you through it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Emily, for joining us. And thank you all for spending your Veterans Day, a portion of it, with us today. We really, yes, we really thank you for coming, and thank you for your service as well. So thanks for joining us here on Senior Living Live, and everyone, please have a great day.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye. See you next Veterans Day.